continue with our deathmatch campaign here at war with the entire realm of Calradia. This is war against 8 different kingdoms, and just like real life, when you fight everybody, the difficulty increases and increases. It doesn't get easier. So we continue to try to rescue Epicroria here from siege of this Khuzait force. You can see they have 2,500, and then it looks like there's a smaller force that's also helping them siege. And our army size is down to 1,000 after these last 2 or 3 fights. We still have castles under siege. I just haven't had time even to catch my breath here under this just never-ending assault. Down here, Varagos Castle still under siege. In fact, they're in danger of being starved out at this stage. In fact, they are starving. So I need to get down there. And now we have more forces coming in. God, this is just a conveyor belt of enemies. This looks like a Sturgian force. That force is starving down there. So I want to head down south. Epicroria, though, they're going to start to starve. If you don't know, the troops start to starve after they're out of food for a day or two, and they become wounded. We're going to do some upgrades here. And there's another force. This is the Southern Empire has a force here as well. So this is getting kind of comical at this stage. I think we'll attack this Southern Empire force. I don't want to fight. There's another army. There's a Western army. So this is reaching a comical stage almost. We're going to fight the Southern Empire here, hopefully alone. This guy says he knows all our tricks. Well, then I don't think he would have attacked us with a force barely twice our size, because we're gonna show him a few more tricks than he suspects here. And this is an optimal map for us to pull off some tricks here. Get my heroes assigned to their proper divisions here. And this is actually one of the reasons long ago that I chose Epicroria to be my capital. It's not a particularly easy castle to defend itself, city to defend itself. But when you fight nearby Epicroria, you're usually on one of 2 maps. You're usually on this narrow valley map, or you're on the Epicroria, the valley and river map, which also is a highly exploitable map for advanced tactics. So here I'm going to set up archers up on this ridge here, and we're going to have a little bit of a combination peekaboo ridge and a funnel here, though. Right there, that's the 3rd cav. The 6th and 8th will be behind here on the other side of this ridge. And we will attempt to assault the enemy as they come over this ridge here. Let's see what we're dealing with here. It's an enormous amount of heavy cavalry here. So their first wave is going to be cav heavy, hence these cav shield wall lines. This is a defensive tactic that I've been developing for quite a while. You need to use it in the correct location. But here what happens is as they filter over the top of this ridge, their cav loses all momentum, right, because they charge uphill, then they hit our cav wall line, and they kind of come to a standstill. So I have skirmishers nearby. That's the 1st infantry we'll probably use in a square. And then we're going to pound these guys with ammunition, arrows, javelins as they come over this ridge. Given that we're probably going to have even another battle after this battle, this is a situation here where I need to win this battle decisively. Even though we're heavily outnumbered, we not only have to win here, but we need to minimize losses, including myself. I need to minimize how much my own character takes, how much damage he takes in this battle. Sometimes it's easier said than done, right? This is an elite force. I see lots of legionnaires. I see lots of heavy cav and high-level cataphract as they stream in here. They also have horse archers over here. So we're going to use this square here sort of as a moving square. Sometimes it's like a bait ball. I want the enemy to swarm this infantry square. And then as they're attacking it, we're going to attack their infantry ball with multiple. I don't actually see any infantry. It's kind of interesting. I suspected they would have a lot of infantry for this battle, but I don't see much. So far, it's just a heavy cav onslaught, but you see them all tied up there, right? They're all, I think the cav, or the infantry line just arrived. We're going to pick off some of these cav. You see how vulnerable these guys are. A lot of these guys are facing the other way, and our archers can just shoot them in the back. Okay, now they've swarmed it. 130 infantry. We're going to pull these guys back. And what we're going to be doing effectively is using this to pull their troops in. I've got the 6th and 8th over here on our right flank. And as soon as that cav wall is sufficiently reduced here, then we can focus on this infantry. The infantry is actually starting to filter all over the place, so we're going to charge with the 6th and 8th. And I've also dragged the 2nd cav from our left flank into here. Oh boy, they dissolved that infantry wall pretty easily. These are all elite infantry, elite Manablion. Manablitons, Legionary. We're definitely suffering a bit more losses here than I expected. Looks like they've reached our archer line, so we're going to charge with hand-to-hand here. Sometimes when archers are in a spot like this where they don't have line of sight, you're better off just charging. So these guys are given the charge command. We're going to knock off a few more heads here and wade into battle. Now this is obviously a lot more dangerous. I'm a lot more vulnerable on foot than I am, but I kill a lot better also. And from a role-playing perspective, I kind of like to think that my troops love to see the Jarl fighting in the pits with them. Kind of dragging a few of these guys around here. We want to stall the enemy at this stage. In a battle like this, one of the keys is to stall them because we still have like 100 archers or 80 archers up on that hill. You can see their arrows raining down. An accidental horse kill. I'm sure the ritual sacrifice of killing one of our men's will occur soon. I appreciate that suggestion. But the screen is still highly green, right? Even though we have injured companions and some of our elite troops are injured, this tactic is still working beautifully. Now this entire army, I've been just trying to regroup here because we were defeated in a battle. It seems like a year ago, but I think it was like a week ago at game time or less. And we've just been fighting non-stop battles since then. One of the advantages of that, though, is you get plenty of upgrades. If you win, if you have highly successful wins, you will have massive troop upgrades. And that's hopefully what's going to happen here as well. I just looked up at the power bar. Originally they had a huge advantage, and now it looks like they're barely favored to win. So just like the GPS on your car, right? The system is recalibrating. Have a javelin in the neck there, guy. I take this as a sign usually to get on horse. When I get hit by a horse like this a lot of times in battle, I take it as like a propitious sign that I should get on the horse. We're going to pursue a few of this last archers. They already have another infantry wave coming over this hill. But we're going to keep this death funnel going on. The other advantage, of course, I have with this is that I know this map like the back of my hand. I have probably fought 15 battles on this map at this stage. I know the funny angles. I know where the rocks are. Well, there's the ritual sacrifice. We're taking out a noble today. All these enemy forces around her, and she gets smoked with a javelin on the back of the head. Alright, so I still have the 6th and 8th here. I've got one unit in the square, and again, we're going to charge in their melee. If you've tried this in your game, right, and you're sort of an early level player just sort of wading into the enemy, it's probably not gone well for you. I move very quickly. At this stage, I have a very strong understanding of sort of the distances of the various weapons of my enemy, and I have 330 athletics with a speed bonus. So I move around the battlefield at an incredible rate of pace. It helps me dodge attacks. You know, I've done the whole parrying and blocking of enemy attacks and chamber blocking and all that complex stuff. But honestly, when you're fighting 4 or 5 enemies, it's way, way easier just to move and maneuver outside of the range of their weapons and keep on slashing guys as you move than it is to do all the parrying and blocking and stuff like that. I've just found a two-handed weapon moving very quickly. This is one of my faster axes. I think it's 94 or 96 speed. Of course, I've got 330 two-handed as well. It increases my survivability greatly, just because the enemy simply can't even come to grips with me with their weapon. You've never played a character with 280 to 330 endurance, for the movement and the hit points in battle. Well, as you can see, it's a blast. It turns you very briefly into Bruce Wayne, right? You're running around the battlefield, just fucking up all the villains at the same time, and you're very hard to kill. This is a very good sign. They're already down to their, well, not all, but to some of their low-tier cav, right? That's obviously a very good sign. I'm going to chase these guys out of here as soon as we can. If we can get them to rout, of course, that's optimal. I don't really want to have to kill 2,300 troops because it's going to make for casualties, right? We want to minimize our casualty amount here. mimicking the strategy of exhaustion here, the plan that they came up for the Civil War, the United States Civil War. I know there's some people watching this that are not from the United States. I won't make the same arrogant decision that a lot of Americans make, where they just assume that anybody watching this is an American. Sometimes I get offended when I'm like in a Facebook group and guys are like, English only, please. You should only speak English here. It's like, you do understand. I'm basically trying to remind our fellow Americans that you do understand that a very large portion of the world, including people playing Bannerlord, don't speak English as a first language, right? This is not some kind of requirement. And I would say we apologize for those Americans who think we're at the center of the universe. Of course, New Yorkers, a lot of times New York is seen literally by New Yorkers as the center of the universe. This is just something that happens. The same thing happened with Paris in the 1650s under Louis XIV. It's kind of human nature. God, that's it. The enemy force just whittled away. And again, a big part of it is we have routers here. These guys are out of here. And this is a strategy you want to employ in Bannerlord, right? You want to encourage the enemy to flee. If they get beat in a very decisive manner, they just will peel out, right? Might not even kill half their force, and the rest of their troops are out of here. So 1,100. Yeah, we killed roughly half. Look at almost 1,000 fled the battlefield here. So highly successful. 120 total casualties. We'll release all these lords here. We'll continue to be magnanimous. There's no real upgrades here. Again, I continue to use my high-level troops, but at this stage we also have a significantly upgraded army. And God, we're facing another force. Somehow that whole Southern Empire force is not destroyed. There's like 115 guys there in the days. And this is Sturgia and Western Empire. Well, it's fairly unending here. Literally, we can't catch our breath between these two battles. I think we just fought 2,300, and here's another 2,300. So the conveyor belt of death is shuttling enemies in at a high rate of speed. Someone must have made a mistake and turned it to the highest speed of conveyor belt as our enemies continue to pour in here. This is kind of a dark battlefield now. Go! I can see pretty well though, so hopefully, as you, the watcher, hopefully you can see pretty well. Please let me know, fellas, if you can't see very well in a battle like this. And of course, it's always harder to see in the dark. But if it's too difficult to see, please let me know, right? I'll make some adjustments. If you can't fucking see, what am I making these videos for? I'm not making these videos for myself. If you guys can't actually watch, please let me know. I understand different devices. If you're watching on a phone, or if you're watching on your PC, maybe on a subway and on a bright evening, if you can't see, let me know, and that's something I'll try to adjust in the future. So we're on the same map, but this portion of the map doesn't have the same outstanding landscape. In fact, I'm very limited to what I can do tactically here. I'm going to effectively line up a crossfire. We're going to have archers on both sides, try to funnel the enemy into the middle. We'll use bait balls. Of course, Sturgia is going to have a huge amount of infantry, and sort of continue to try to survive. We're getting to the stage here pretty soon where I'm not going to be able to defend Epicroria. I mean, fuck. I didn't need to get speared. But if we start getting to the point where we have 400 men, I'm not going to be able to attack the forces of Epicroria there. So I've got a cav shield wall. I'm using the rocks over there, right? Anytime you have some kind of landscape advantage like that, you want to do that. That'll limit how many heavy cav charging on our left flank here. And on the right, we just have infantry and cav shield wall lines set up to help protect those archers. I have started developing more and more tactics for infantry or heavy cav based armies, but most of the time with our armies, we have probably almost 45 to 50% archers in our army. Archers are very powerful in Bannerlord, and especially in vanilla Bannerlord, and so we're going to take advantage of that. And these stubborn Sturgians, effectively traitors. I'm originally a Sturgian. Their infantry is fucking tough, and always provides our archer heavy army with a tough fight when I can't kite, right? If you've seen some of my episodes where we kite the Sturgians, they're very easily defeated. Here, it's kind of difficult to kite because you only have so much room on the map to work with. This is absolutely one of the smallest maps in the whole game. And so this map definitely favors an infantry-heavy army like the Sturgians have. Here they come. Here's this massive infantry block. And for whatever reason, they just block better. Sturgian forces seem to block more. They seem to block better. And so we're going to kite as well as we can. We've got an infantry ball there in a shield wall, or in a square rather. And this little floating square, I haven't really developed a name. Honestly, it's not a tactic I've developed that much, but the whole idea is that they're in a highly defensible structure. And we can just move it back as the enemy is sort of trying to throttle it, trying to chase it. And as they're doing that, right, we're pounding them with arrows. These guys are throwing javelins. I still have some guys in the 6th and 8th that are up. Those are my elite companions. Most of them have either high-level javelin skills or bow skill. And we're going to continue to pull back here. The whole time we're pulling back, too, one of the advantages here is obviously you're weakening the enemy force, right? Their force is dwindled significantly, so that when we do fight hand-to-hand, which is imminent, their force will be sort of cut down to our size here. See, I've got the 4th crossbow wing over there. They're basically aligned perpendicular to our other archer corps. And again, that's so they can get crossfire. That's so they can shoot the enemy in the side or the back. And this is obviously an optimal result. I took another slash there. My health is down almost to a quarter at this stage. I'm running all these battles on normal player damage. God, I got a huge group of guys attacking me, and so you catch a horse out of it. All I did that for was to just get out of reach of those infantry. You know, you catch a horse for 6 seconds. Those guys that were chasing you tend to ignore you after that, and then you can come back in here and kill them all. I want one of these big shields. These Sturgian shields seem to work well for them, so we're going to pick it up. You can hear I'm already blocking arrows left and right. Shields do have some realism to how they block. Now, by most accounts, by people who have tested it, they block a significant larger radius than the actual shield actually shows itself. Now, you can shoot and throw javelins at the feet of the enemy. If this is something you've never experimented with, if you're riding a horse, I got pretty good there briefly at shooting the ankles of the enemy. It doesn't do more damage. It actually does quite a bit less, of course, because if you hit somebody in the chest or head with your arrow, obviously it should do more damage. And it does. Got a javelin right in the spine. But shields block quite a bit, right? Like if you've never used a shield, you know, and this narration is basically talking about the different parts of it. I really think you guys should try different elements of Bannerlord because it'll make you a better player. It'll make you understand the game better. When I run around with a shield, it's amazing, man. Especially if you crouch, you're almost impervious to arrow damage. You know, and I'm referring to these big shields that the Sturgian have. These big round shields. My character likes to eat, right? He's big on hot pockets, medieval style hot pockets, and so you know, he's got a kind of large frame. That is a factor, by the way. If you have a little tiny character, you will not be as vulnerable to arrow fire. You will not be as vulnerable to melee. Guys will literally swing, or a cat will try to spear you and swing right over your head. Okay, so my health here is very precarious here as I tell my little stories. But we do have the RTS mod loaded. It is stable temporarily on this version, and so we're going to continue to use this, and hopefully, hopefully I don't get knocked off my horse. But if I do, I'll be able to continue this battle and roll on as another character in this army. But just to finish that point, if you choose a really small character, it's not just free lunch. It's not just all advantages and no disadvantages. And I actually noticed it with this character. I don't know if you know, you can actually change the physical structure of your hero mid-campaign. I was able to go in and simply, I can't remember what button I even hit, but you can literally change like his build. I went in and actually made him a bit taller because hearing, you know, that smaller characters get hit less by archers and javelins in the throat, right? Instead it goes right over your head. I made a small character, and this guy, no, I didn't even adjust this guy. This guy's one of the sons. Maybe I did adjust him so that he was shorter. But I actually went back to changing him to a larger character, and there's a reason. If you're really short, the same, the same effects affect your player on the offensive side. I found that I couldn't hit the enemy consistently in the head when I was on foot. I would swing my axe, and I would tilt my axe like straight up, and I still was having a hard time consistently hitting the enemy in the head. And so what I did is I actually went from making this character, I think I intentionally made him smaller, And now I'm back to he's a big character, so that I can behead my enemy more often. You do massive damage when you hit your enemy with a headshot. You know, you'll kill lords sometimes in one shot. So we did that. I made that change. I get hit more in the head, right? But we pick up a shield. I'm holding it right now, blocking my big head, and it works pretty nicely. Let's see if I can somehow sort of filter in here between the enemy forces without getting shot off my mount. They have fucking 350 forces still pouring in here. At this stage, our army is in a very damaged state. We've had an infantry reinforcement line. Tactically, there's very limited options on this battlefield in this narrow part. And I've already mentioned that, but you see how narrow it is. It's not like I can pull off incredible flanking from this battlefield. What I can do is I can keep my forces up on the sides. That gives them a little bit of elevation advantage, right? They can shoot further. They're running downhill. And if you're doing it right, you can have an infantry block in the center that you're frequently using as squares. And this is part of the reason I use 8 divisions. I know a lot of people out there, they see me, well, there goes the Jarl. They see me running around. Actually, she'd be perfect. How do I control here again? Hold on, folks. Sorry, I've forgotten how to use the RTS commands. I want to use, yeah, actually, no. He'll be fine. He's almost a mimic my character. He's got some archer skills, and he's got a nice big axe, two-handed axe skill. Order our troops around here in a second. We're down to mid-tier infantry. This is not a good sign, especially since it looks like there'll be another fight after this. I'm seeing tier 3 and tier 4 infantry charging with us. He's got some nasty bow skill though. I've got a lot of characters that are, 250 to 350 or 330 bow skill, right? And these guys do major damage at range. This is what I was talking about before, right? I would highly encourage you anyways to branch out your different weapon skills, right? Because if you're using the RTS mod, or just for general game knowledge, you're going to want to be able to command different units and understand the game mechanics of those different units. Now he has almost no health. We're almost out of arrows here. Fortunately, he's got a big, mean battle axe. I had a train of thought that you'll have to forgive me. This battle's been so long and so rolling. This couple battles. The enemy here, infantry, they're starting to bowl us over here. I just got another reinforcement wave. Very problematic in my campaign. Obviously, at this stage, we cannot afford to lose a second battle. We already lost one battle here recently. It's just too devastating in Bannerlord. You've heard me talk about that in some other episodes. The most important thing in Bannerlord is winning the majority of your fights. However you do that, whether that means only fighting when you're going to win, right? That's an option. In my campaign, that's not really an option. I've got to fight battles. Sometimes we're heavily outnumbered. The chance of defeat is there. This is a very bad sign. I've got guys running up with fucking peasant weapons. So this Sturgian force, this tough infantry force is really starting to press us. And I have no idea what our force is going to look like when we have to fight yet another battle after this. I've actually lost track of how many different battles this is we've had to fight in a row. You can see he's got like 280 athleticism. I'm outrunning my troops here to chase down the enemy. We got one more arrow for these fucks before they reset. I think they're routing. They're right on that ridge. It looks like they're trying to form a defensive line on that ridge. Let's see if our heavy cab pursuing them doesn't encourage them to route right off the map. We will prepare in case they do turn. I can pick up some more arrows here. It's a lot easier to pick up arrows when you have a character like this. Yeah, you can ride a horse, but I can't pull out my bow. So he must have a long bow, and he must not have the requisite skill to use any bow from horse. Yeah, the enemy does look like they're setting up a defensive line here. 330. They have almost 350 troops here. Oh, they just peeled over that ridge. That might mean this battle is over. I think they finally routed. We'll send everybody in here to try to encourage that cav charge. The infantry and archers I'm going to have just stand here in case the enemy does get reinforcements come back over that ridge. It seems like we're good though. Yeah. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to break up these episodes. There's clearly another battle coming. I know guys are key. They're keen on watching episodes that are longer, right? The epic feel to it. When I have these multi-battles, you know, I'll probably break some of these up though. No one's really going to want to sit through a 3-hour episode of just endless battles. We lost a companion here, but this is we took quite a few losses, almost 500 casualties. This is way more than I wanted to suffer in a battle like this, with yet another battle behind this. But what can you do, right? We're facing a tough army, 2.5 times our size in this valley here. Of course, you can see our rating's 100 with every single clan, because for literally a couple decades we've been releasing all their foolish nobles. They can go back to their homeland with an ignominious failure again to capture the Jarl. God, we're down to 480 troops. I think we will break this up here, just so that it's not an absolute marathon session. It looks like there's a force of Western. I'm not sure if they'll attack us. It's kind of right on the edge of large enough to attack us. You know, the AI uses the power bar effectively. They won't attack if they have no chance. We'll do some upgrading of some future children here, almost all of them. You know, we tell them they're going to get bloody. We want these guys immediately joining the fray. We don't want them smart. We're taking away all their books from ancient Rome. We don't want them learning at all from Pliny and all the intelligent philosophers. We want these guys sharpening their axe, because there's more battle to come. Our deathmatch campaign saunters on here. We're in this just absolutely brutal stretch here where I can't even catch my breath. It's just fight after fight after fight. But you see our main army here is largely uninjured. And now I have 418 troops with only 22 injured. In fact, our army is the main army that's left standing here. I've got companions that hopefully will come and join our army. But as you can see, we have like less than 100 troops besides our army for this defense of Epicroria. If we can ever fucking get to it, right? It's just never ending. So stay tuned for that, friends. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys next time.